All right, everybody. So I am your one-star platinum, Sarah Rogers. I have been with Archer and Evolution for just about 2 years now, so I'm very excited. I try to do at least one specialty training a month. This month, I'm focusing on how to talk to clients. Okay, so we're going to go over some do's and don'ts, how to prepare yourself, how to do a good follow-up, and stuff like that, and I'm very excited. So let's go ahead and get this on the road. I do have everyone muted. I have the chat box open. Please feel free to ask questions as I go along. And of course, at the very end, I will also stay around and ask or be able to answer any other questions that we may have. Now, this is just how to talk to travel clients. This is not a team building focused training. This is a booking travel focused training, okay? All righty, so let's get into this. Okay, so I want to talk about setting up a consult, how you do that, things that you can say to your client. A lot of times, especially I know the way I like to help my agents is I like to give them mock booking ads to post online, on Facebook. I know a lot of different marketing strategies are taught to advertise all over social media, which is super smart, super great, because remember, you want to get as many cold client leads as possible. The cold market is infinite. So, but a couple of things that you do want to remember when you're doing a consult, you're never going to sell travel through a messenger or through email, right? So you got to get personal. You got to build a relationship. You got to build trust. In order to do that, you need to really set up a phone consult, okay? Number one, that's going to save a lot of back and forth messaging that can be really irritating to a client, okay? It's going to allow you to get on the phone and make a personal connection with your client and build a relationship. Remember, guys, when you're talking to a client, you don't want this to be just a one and done client, right? You want this client to be a lifetime client. You want this client to come back to you over and over again. You want this client to also refer you other clients. So the best thing that you can do is get on the phone with them and start building that relationship, start building that trust with them, right? So a lot of the times when I get inquiries for maybe an ad that I put out, some of the things that I get are, hey, I saw your ad, I would love more details, or I saw your ad, I'm really looking for X, Y, and Z vacation. Can you help me? Can I get more details, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The number one goal is I never want to give details or go back and forth on a messenger or email or even a text message. My main goal right then and there, as soon as I get the inquiry, is I'm going to set up a phone consult. Thank you so much, Bob, for getting in touch with me. I would love to give you all the details. I have an appointment for tonight at 4 p.m. or Monday at 9, or Monday, tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the morning, which works best for you. I'm giving them two options. I'm not being super open-ended. I'm not saying, hey, can I get on the phone with you? I'm not saying, do you have time to talk? Those are very open-ended questions, okay? And I really want to nail down my time. Number one, I am a single mom. So for me personally, it's very important that I schedule my clients' appointments during a time that I don't have my child when she's in daycare. So of course, I know my schedule. I know what works for me. So I'm going to set up the appointment times based off those times that work for me. Okay, number two, you're going to come off extremely professional when you do that, okay? Number one, it's going to make you look like you're busy, whether you're just starting out, this may be your first phone consult, or maybe you do have 10 consults lined up for that day, right? It's going to make you look like this is somebody who runs their business systematically, okay? We do phone consults, we do X, Y, and Z. You get what I'm saying? And number two, it's going to allow you a time when you know you can speak to your client and they're going to be free. So many times I get, agents that are like, I'm trying to get all this information, but I call them, they don't have time to talk, or they tell me they're not busy, they're busy right now. So set up a phone call. Set up a time that you know will be dedicated for you and your client to get on the phone and go ahead and talk to them, right? You want to also make sure that, you give them options. You don't just say, oh, I have a 5 o'clock, hope that works for you. Give them 2 times. Maybe it's 2 times in the same day. Something that allows them some options. People like to have those choices, right? So that's number one. I always feel like that's very important. And also be prepared when you talk to your client over the phone. Okay, it's even if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you made the appointment for 3 p.m. What can you do to be prepared? Have a list of questions. I know on my team, I do like to give out a Google document. I think it was created by actually another platinum, but it's a Google document that goes over the kind of questions that you're going to need to know in order to build out a good quote. Okay. So, for example, the questionnaire that I have is a very simple Google Doc right here. Okay. And it's client name, where would you like to go, how many people are traveling, how many adults, children, et cetera, et cetera. Now, you may be like, oh my God, this is a very long list. But in all actuality, guys, if you give this to your clients, number one, don't ever do that. You're making them do work. They're coming to you for you to provide a service. Okay. If you're asking them to fill this out on their own, might as well kiss that booking goodbye, because they can just go on Expedia and then just fill this all on their own on their own time. Why are they doing that with you? Again, remember, we are in a service-based industry, right? So we want to always provide the best service. But when you're going through this kind of stuff over the phone, it's actually a lot easier. My phone consults are typically anywhere from 10 on the long end, maybe 30 minutes. I have like a super good connection going on and I'm like getting some really good combo in there. But typically I like to keep my consults very kind of short. I like to be personal, but I like to, just run through some questions. And these are going to be questions, guys. If any of my travel bookers on here know, these are pretty much questions that you're going to need to know when you're just even doing a basic search for a vacation. So a lot of the times I get people that are like, my client wants an all-inclusive to Cancun, 2 adults, 2 kids. Okay, well, when would they like to travel? What are their ages of their children? What kind of bedroom do they want? Okay, do they want 1 bed, 2 beds, ocean view, resort view? These are all going to be very specific questions that you need to know before you even search, or you're going to go into a situation very blindly when you're shopping for a quote, and you're going to be running around with your chicken with the head cut off, because you're not going to know what direction to take this in, right? So the more you can prepare, right, have these questions offhand, take something like this. And then also too, guys, you want to make sure that you're pre-qualifying your client, right? You want to make sure you are pre-qualifying your client. And what do I mean by that? Another common thing that I get from agents is I will ask them, does your client want to do a deposit? Are they ready to pay in full? And they're like, oh, I didn't really even ask them that. Well, you want to make sure that you're not wasting your time. Time is money, right? And especially in our industry, when we're servicing our clients, our time is money. We're literally spending time, as we should, to shop for our clients. But on the same spectrum, or on the same end, I guess, you want to make sure that you're shopping for people who are seriously looking to book travel. Okay, so some of the things that I always ask them is, how soon are you ready to book? Do you want a deposit? Are you looking for a deposit situation, or are you looking to pay all up front? Typically, I don't ask that question because it's not going to really matter. I mean, I don't ask that question because it matters. Like, that's not going to make a difference in where I shop for them. But I just like to know up front, like, what kind of, are they like serious, all hands in? Or, do I need to get the deposit information for them for the follow-up quote, right? Or for the follow-up phone call? Again, I'm preparing myself, right? But I definitely, number one, I always ask them, how soon are you looking to book? If it's January or February and they say, oh, I'm not looking to book till June. Well, I'm going to tell them right off the bat, okay, no problem, Susie. I can give you really general pricing, but the way the travel industry works, prices change day to day. And so really my specific quotes are only good for a 24-hour period. So if you're not really ready to book right now, not a problem. I'll give you very general pricing, so that way we can go ahead and get in touch again in June, and you kind of already know where this pricing may be at. But I'm not going to be able to give you anything specific, because by the time you're ready to book, that pricing is going to be null and void. Okay. I also am very upfront with my clients, and I tell them, any pricing that I give, just to let you know, is going to be good for about maybe a 24 to 48 hour time period, because I want to push a sense of urgency on them, right? And I also want to educate them and let them know things up front on this phone consult, right? And then always, always, before you end the phone consult, you always want to make sure that you have a follow-up appointment set. Okay. Is this all making sense to you guys right now? When you make a follow-up appointment, you want to give yourself some time, right? So one of the kind of beginner mistakes, and I even did this, I was super guilty of this. I would go ahead and when I was talking to my clients, I would tell them, okay, Susie, no problem. I'm going to have this back to you ASAP. Okay. What does ASAP mean? ASAP to Susie could mean an hour. ASAP to you could have meant 2 days because you got a kid to watch for the next 2 days, right? So you don't want to use very gray language like that. You want to be specific. It's part of providing good customer service. You want to make sure that you can provide your clients the time frame, right? Because again, you're setting them up. You're setting yourself up for a good chance of closing that booking. So me personally, depending on what time of the day, what time of the week it is, you know, if I do a consult early Monday morning, I know that I'm going to have all of Monday afternoon to schedule or to look this up. And I typically don't schedule myself for too much structure training on a Monday. So, you know, I may be able to, depending on what kind of booking it is, I may be able to feel confident enough to do a follow-up appointment later on that day. Or, you know, let's say I know I'm going to have, you know, my daughter's dad's going to take her the next day in the evening. Maybe I'll try to do the follow-up for the evening, right? The point is, you know, when you have your availability. Now, that does not mean wait 5 days in between or wait 2 weeks in between, right? Again, if your client is serious about booking, then they should be ready to book right away. Now, I have people that are like, well, if they tell me they're not ready to book for June, okay, then they're not a serious client. What about, you know, I have people that tell me my client doesn't want to get on the phone. Well, think about it this way. A vacation package generally is at least probably $1,000, right? On the smaller scale of things. You know, typically I would say mine average around $5,000 to $7,000 because I like to book certain things, right? My group vacation is obviously a lot larger. But the point is, if you were going to get ready to spend a $4,000, even $1,000 on a vacation, do you want to spend that money with somebody who just emails you? Or do you want to spend that money with somebody who just messages you and never gets on the phone and you have no idea if this person's even a real person? No. And vice versa. Like if this person doesn't want to get on the phone with you, then they're probably just window shopping whatever ad you put on there. And they're probably not that serious, because somebody who's serious about booking travel is going to want to get on the phone and tell you what they want, because they're going to want to make sure that they're getting what they want when they go to you, right? Carla says, what if a client wants to book months in advance with a deposit, let's say 6 months in advance? That's fine. That's not a problem. So that would be a situation where they say, I'm ready to book now with a deposit. Okay, great. No problem. Now, I will also say that you cannot book with a deposit if it's like 60 days or less. If it's a trip that they're wanting to do fairly quickly and it's within 60 days or less, I tell them that's going to be a trip where, you know, the amount will be due up front. Vendors will not do payment plans for trips that close. Okay. But yeah, if the client wants to book and it, you know, they're booking their summer vacations now and it's February, yeah, of course they can make a deposit with our vendors and go ahead and do that payment, right? All right. So the do's and don'ts and don't forgets. Okay. So you do want to make sure that your client is aware that travel prices change day by day. I always like to tell my clients, my quotes are only good for 24 hours. Okay. And let them know you're going to get the best pricing for what they're looking for. So part of the consult, right? Because another thing that I get people asking me is my client says they want the cheapest vacation, the cheapest Mexico vacation. No, what they're really telling you is they want the best price for the experience that they want, right? So, for example, when a client tries to be a little bit like indecisive with me like that, and they're not really wanting to like say much, first of all, I never like to ask my client, "What's your budget?" I think that's very corny. You can do what you want, but for me, I don't like that. It's like walking onto a car lot, and the sales dude is like, "All right, how much do you want to spend on a car today?" Can you warm me up a little bit before? Can I look at the inventory? Can we have a conversation? You know what I mean? So, again, this is why you talk to a client and you get to have that personal one-on-one relationship with them. Okay. So, part of this is when I tell them, if the client tells me I'm looking for the cheapest deal. Okay, Bob, not a problem. Just so you know, in Mexico, you can book hostels for about $20 a night, but we also have resorts that are about 5,000 to 7,000 a night. Let me know where you're at, because I don't want to book you at a hostel if that's not your experience. I don't know if you have kids going, right? You just have a conversation with them like that. You don't have to be like a smart about it, but just be real about it. Like, let them know this is the price range that you're at. And then a way around that, instead of asking straight up for a budget, I'll just ask them, where is it that you feel comfortable per night? Because that's going to help you eliminate a lot of hotels, right? You're going to know, okay, they don't want this cheap 2-star experience, but they don't quite want a 5-star. They feel comfortable with like a $200 a night per person price range. Cool. You see how in asking these questions and qualifying them over the phone, your search queue is going to get smaller and smaller, so that you're not on option overload either, right? And at the same time, you're getting your client everything that they're wanting. And then also be on time with your appointments. If you make an appointment for 1 o'clock, don't call them at 1:30. Don't call them at 1:15. Call them at 1 o'clock. Okay. Now let's talk about some don'ts, right? Remember, we are in the customer service industry and we are planning their vacation. It is not our vacation. It is not our dream vacation. It's not our mom's dream vacation. This is a client that's going to pay to get what they want. So don't be rude. Don't try to push them, right? Don't be pushy. It's their vacations. They're entitled to whatever experience that they want. If you have a client with a lot of requests, okay, great, no problem. I have some people that get a little bit frustrated because they feel like they go back and forth with their client. Did you get on the phone and do a consult with them, right? Because a lot of those things will come out during the phone consult, right? And so, whatever it is my client wants, I'm writing down and I'm trying to make sure that I can hit as many check boxes as possible. It is their vacation. And, if they're going to go spend $7,000 on a vacation, if I was going to go spend $7,000 on a vacation, you better be sure I'm getting everything that I want. And if I'm talking to a travel advisor that doesn't want to hear my request, why the heck would I give that person my business, right? So you want to make sure that you're being very accommodating, that you, are making sure that I always tell people, I'm here to be your travel advocate. So whatever it is you want, I'm going to work with you to make sure that that's what you get. Okay. And don't waste their time. If they won't be ready to book, if they don't, sorry, I messed that one up pretty bad. If they're not ready to book, advise them to get in contact with you when they're ready. That you can give them general info, but travel pricing changes too much to give a quote. So you don't want to burn a bridge necessarily. You don't want to say, oh, you're wasting my time, don't want to talk to you, right? But you just kind of want to give them a roundabout. Hey, Susie, not a problem. Look, I understand that you're not ready to book for another 3 months. But I can give you a very kind of general pricing for what's out there right now. But really, you're going to need to get in contact with me when you're ready to book, so I can go ahead and we can work this out and get a more specific quote, right? Does this make sense to you guys? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, cool. 35 people on and 2 responses. Is everybody on here? Perfect. I just want to make sure you guys are getting good information. Thank you. Okay. So, okay, and don't forget, when you're doing your consults, when you're talking to your clients, this is your time to be personal. Like, let's say they're wanting to plan a trip for their kids and you have kids. Oh my God, what age are your kiddos? And guess what? When you're being personal like that, I can guarantee you might be crossing off some questions. So in being personable, you can also learn how to cross off questions. Oh my God, I have a 2-year-old. You know what? She would love to play in the sand all day and build sand castles. Tell me about your kiddos. Oh my God, you have a 3-year-old. They would want to do the same. Okay, does a beachfront is a beachfront resort something that you're looking for? Then that way you don't have to travel with the 3-year-old. I know how exhausting that can be, right? You take this time to be personable because you're building trust when you do that, right? You're building a connection. This is a very relationship type of business, right? Remember, you don't want them to be a one-time client. You want them to be an all-the-time client. You want them to have such a great experience with you. They're going to feel comfortable recommending you to other people, right? And always, always, always explain that you're their travel advocate. You're going to be here to make sure that they get everything they're looking for the best price. So a lot of the times when I get a client on a consult, they are always like, so I have to kind of admit, I don't really know what a travel agent's for, right? I tell them, no problem. That's exactly when I wanted to get on the phone and kind of just talk to you and let you know what I do. My job is really to be a travel advocate. I'm really here to make sure that you get what you want. The great thing about being a travel agent is that my clients don't pay for my services because the vendors bid for me to get the best pricing. So I'll put your request out there, and my vendors come back to bid. They want the business, and so they're going to bid for the best pricing. And that's how I can guarantee you that I'm going to be able to get the best pricing for what you are looking for. Okay. So, I always like to explain that, especially if they're asking, maybe they're new, a younger couple, stuff like that, right? They don't maybe they're like scared that, I always get sometimes a client that's like, so how much do you cost for me to use you? I'm like, nothing. And they get excited, and that's something that sometimes they don't want to ask in a messenger. So maybe they feel like this person's asking me all these questions. I don't want to have to pay them. There's all these things that like when you're emailing or you're messaging, they don't necessarily kind of come to life or transfer the same way that they will over the phone. And if you're starting to build that personable relationship, they may feel more comfortable after a 2-minute like warm up convo with you to ask you those kind of things. And that in turn builds trust. It probably like lets them feel like, oh, okay, that's so much better. At least I know I don't have to pay this person, right? So it's very important to use that time to be personable, build trust, and let your client know like, hey, I'm here to work for you. I'm here to make sure that you get everything that you want. And I always tell my client, if there's a quote, we talk about a quote and there's something that you don't like, let me know. I'm happy to fix it for you, but again, I'm also making sure that checklist, that list of questions is going to be something that's going to make it really easy for me to really get what it is that they're looking for. Okay. Okay, so be prepared to book. Plan, prepare, and perform. I'm talking about the follow-up call. Now, a lot of people are like, Sarah, how do you book live? What do you do? What if they want pictures of the resorts? They want all the details. How do you get their credit card authorization or credit card form? Right? These are all really good questions. I'm going to tell you that I have to give Nikki Lee credit for this. She's really somebody that taught me how to book live over the phone. And it was because I used her techniques, I was able to close a lot more bookings. So for example, previous to really plugging into Nikki Lee and, asking her for help, I one time gave a client, they came to me, I was really, really brand new agent. They came to me, they wanted a Costa Rica trip. It was like a 5-night stay or whatever. They wanted all these excursions, rent a car, like the whole 9 yards. Okay. And I gave him everything via email because I was like, okay, he's messaging me. He's really responsive. I'm just going to send it to him in the emails. He's ready to go. You know what he told me when I sent him the email? Thanks a lot. This is perfect. Never heard from the guy again. So I learned very early, I'm not going to do that to myself, right? I'm going to make sure that I get on the phone, set a follow-up appointment, and I'm going to book them live. Like I'm going to qualify them so they know like when I call them again, it's going to be because I found them results and I'm ready to get their vacation booked. Okay. Joetta says, I charge a $25 booking fee, or I call it a research fee. If they ask what's it for, I say it's for my time and doing the research. What do you think? To each their own. You know, this is where we're all 1099s. You guys are all in control of your business. You know, I know a lot of people say that it is, you know, maybe $25 for, to go ahead and get the quote going, and we use it towards your deposit when you book, right? So in essence, it's pretty much like a holding. So I know a lot of agents will do like, it's $25 now, we'll hold it, and then when you book with me, we'll go ahead and get that applied to your, we'll go ahead and get that applied to your deposit, okay? Now, I wouldn't charge anything over that amount, probably, because you want to gain their service, right? If you're charging them, I don't know, like something crazy, like, I don't know, like $200, like, geez, like you're charging $200 just to do a quote. I mean, really, like, so you got to be very reasonable. That's all I'm going to say. But you guys are all entitled to do whatever it is that you want. You know, I personally, I don't do that, but that's because I have a lot of posture when I talk to my clients, and I do a lot of pre-qualifications on the front end. So I pretty much know, like, okay, these people are going to be serious or they're not going to be serious, right? So like I said, if that's what you do, that this is your business, you can run it how you want, but I'm just speaking how I run my business. Okay. So, when I am getting prepared to do the follow-up appointment, what do? Right? Because a lot of people, like, you know, they say, oh, well, my client wants to see pictures of the resort. Great. So make sure you screenshot some pictures for your client to send while you're over and discussing the quote with them over the phone. You know, you call them at 4 o'clock. Hey, Bob, how's it going? I got your quote. It's super amazing. I'm super excited to talk to you about it. And then start like talking to them about it, right? So, you know, I got this amazing ocean view. It's exactly what you wanted. Let me go ahead and send this picture to you. Send it. Hey, you know, let me know when you get it. I want to look at it the same time as you. And then I'll kind of go over, like, you see, they have really modern bedding. It's exactly the kind of amenities that you wanted. Let me send you a picture of the resort. It's literally right on the beach, and I'll send them the picture of the resort being right on the beach. And that's how I kind of get out of having to get off the phone, send them pictures, wait for a response, yada, yada. But I'm prepared beforehand. I'm not trying to scramble as I'm on the phone with them to get a picture. I'm prepared. I already know that a person people are visual, right? They're going to want to see stuff. So I already know that. So I'm going to get on the phone with them and be prepared with pictures and stuff like that to show them, so that I don't have to worry about that on the back end, right? Okay, so, you know, I have my pictures ready. And I'm going to have my booking portal up. So, you know, this is where, like, being able to work multi-windows would be great, right? So I might have a VAX, let's just say it's VAX, my VAX booking portal set up, and then I might have the credit card authorization form set up. Now, you know, I like to pre-fill a lot of the CC authorization forms ahead of time. So I always have my name and info ready. I have, you know, the supplier name. So I always put supplier as the resort that they're going to. It's not, I don't put supplier as like Vacation Express. I put to the client, I put like their booking with Dreams Resort, or their booking with, you know, Secrets, or whatever the place, right? And then, you know, hotel group package, or hotel air package, hotel car, whatever the case is, right? So how would that work? You just want to hold the money. Again, I don't do that, Juletta, so I can't advise you on how you would hold the money. But that's why I don't do that. I don't mess with that kind of complicated stuff. They're either going to book with me or they're not. And, you know, as I'm doing the live booking, obviously I know who the contact person is. It's the person I'm doing the booking with. I probably am going to assume it's their name on the credit card. And you know, because with the credit card deposit or credit card authorization form, you can't take the whole card number. You're going to have to get on the phone with them at some point and get that live booking number, right? So so you want to make sure that you have everything up, ready to go. You have the booking portal ready to go. You have all the details ready to go. And that way you can go ahead and once you go over everything, you already know that they're ready to book and put down the deposit because you pre-qualified them. Okay, Bob, it's going to be a $400 deposit. How do you want to pay for that today? Is this going to be a Visa? Whatever the case, right? So then you're going to start entering the credit card information, right? And onto the booking. Go ahead and book it live, right? Then what I like to say is, you got to be prepared to take the CC information over the phone. Make sure they know, okay, if it's a deposit, they know I'm going to tell them, okay, Bob, it's a $400 deposit today. The final payment of, $4,200 is going to be due by May 22nd, 2021. Okay, great. Let's get this booked. Awesome. What credit card do you want to use? Go ahead. I'm ready when you are. Okay. And then after I book it, so that's how I get the booking done right away. Okay, get it done over the phone. And then I say, great, Bob, in order to go ahead and solidify the itinerary, I'm going to go ahead and send you the credit card authorization form. It's semi-filled out, so you don't have to do a whole lot. Make sure you please fill it out. You can either e-signature it, you can print it out, send me a screenshot of the signed form, whatever works easiest for you. Go ahead and get that back to me, and I'll go ahead and get that itinerary out to you within 24 hours, okay? Now, I might give them a booking number right away. This is your booking number, right, because you're going to get that right when you, what am I trying to say? Right when you book it. But, I do the itinerary and stuff. I brand that, which, by the way, Amy Cabrera did a wonderful training to follow up with this. It's called How to Brand Yourself. If you guys need more on that, there's another recorded training on that. And that's kind of how I do my bookings. If they do a payment plan, is a CC auth form needed for each payment? That's going to be on you. I like to do for the whole thing. That way, every time I do a payment, I don't have to go in for an authorization. I just have that one full thing done for them, right? But yes, anytime you do a payment plan, you are the person that's going into the portal and going ahead and doing every single payment every time. So up to you. If you want to do a $500 deposit form with the CC auth form and then do a CC auth form every single time, that's why I like to do everything all up front. Whatever it is, it's your business. You can do it how you want. Okay. Oops. Is this all making sense to you guys? Okay, so have pictures of the resort on your phone ready to text your client. Have booking portal information ready to go so you can book live. Have the CC auth form semi-filled out, much easier to send to a client. Make sure you know the pricing and deposit and due dates of final payments, and be prepared to take credit card info over the phone. Yay. Okay. Next. Okay. Don't forget, I always tell people, vacations are fun. Make this a fun and stress-free experience for your clients. Don't stress them with the admin portion. If it takes you 3 different transactions to get one package together, don't tell them that. That's none of their business. This is a vacation. This is fun. I get clients that are like, they work so hard. They're like, I just want to take a vacation. I work so hard. I don't have time to plan it. I'm not going to stress them with the admin stuff. That's what they came to me to handle all of that. None of their business, right? I want to make this fun. I want to hype them up. Oh my God, Susie, I found the perfect resort for you. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to get pictures on with you or from you when you're on the resort. It's going to be super exciting. Hype them up. Get them prepared to have fun. Build that trust, build that relationship. I always ask my clients, please send me pictures when you're on vacation. I love to see my clients having a good time. And in turn, you can use those photos to build your portfolio. If you're somebody that has their websites, business page, whatever the case may be, and don't be scared to ask for a rating on a business page. You book somebody on a vacation, say, hey, Susie, thank you so much for booking with me. I really appreciate your business. Would you mind giving me a quick 5-star rating on Yelp? Would you mind going to my Google listing and giving me a quick 5-star rating? You would be surprised on how many clients have no problem doing that. Think of any business establishment that you walk into, and you get asked that, right? Now, that's not saying, Susie, you booked with me, you have to give me a 5-star rating. No, always make it their choice, make it fun. You want to be that fun person. Vacations are fun. You want to be that fun travel agent, right? And if you can do something extra for a client, a box of chocolates, a $10 wine bottle, when they arrive, trust me, it can go a long way. I booked a cruise for somebody. It was their kid's graduation from high school, and Royal Caribbean, or I think it was Norwegian, they gave my client a free graduation cake. My client didn't know it was free to me, but I told her, hey, like, I'm going to hook your son up. I'm going to make sure that he has a graduation cake so you guys can celebrate. Oh my God, do you know what that little thing meant to her? She was like so happy. She was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this for us. This is so incredible. I didn't tell her that it was a free service. I just made her feel special. Like, so if you can find little things like that, a lot of hotels have, concierge services where, they'll give you a list of things. You just got to contact them. Say, hey, I booked a client X, Y, and Z. I'm wondering if your resort has a list of things that I can kind of purchase, and you can put them in the room. When I used to go to Vegas all the time, I'd have a casino host, and I'd always have a welcome basket in my room, right? Little things like that, and they can range anywhere from $5 to $20, $25, depending on what you want to buy them. I know a lot of the cruise lines, they have a store that you can go into after you made the booking and, buy them something cheap. If you're making $200-300 commission, spend $10 and put it back to your client, because I can promise you, where they say happy wife, happy life, happy client, happy pockets. I mean, like, you're going to get that referral. You're going to get that happy client. You're going to give them every single reason to want to continue to use your services. You're going to give them every single reason to continue to have people book with you, right? Oh my God, Sarah gave me such a great vacation. I'm so happy. She got everything I wanted. I had a box of chocolates from her. It was so sweet. She's the sweetest agent. Susie, go book with her. I know that you've been having trouble booking this. Sarah's great. She'll take care of you, right? How many days do you call out for that type of service? I typically, just because of being the way I am, I'll forget things. So I like to do it right away when I book stuff. I'll just go in there and buy something really quick, But yeah, you want this to be a lifetime client, not a one and done client, right? So does that make sense to everybody? I really want people to get away from messaging, trying to sell travel over messages, over email, stuff like that. Trust me when I say you're going to get so much more secured bookings. You're going to get so much more referral business when you get on the phone, when you're personable with your clients, and when you make it fun for them, right? People love to use people that they know they can trust. So if you do a great job for somebody and they have 5 girlfriends, maybe they're a tight-knit group of girlfriends, and she refers you all of them, right? And then they each refer you 1 or 2 people, and then those people refer you maybe 3 or 4 people. You can see how it suddenly snowballs out of just one booking. You got to make sure that you're friendly. You got to make sure that you're personable. You got to make sure that you're doing things. And then not only that, when you do things like this, when you streamline your processes, you come off more professional, right? So like if I'm talking to a client and I'm like, okay, Susie, great. I got all this information. I got everything I need right here to go ahead and get your quote going for you. I have appointments tomorrow or Thursday I have either, 4 o'clock or, if you want something a little earlier, I can maybe do a 2 p.m. So we can go ahead and discuss everything. We can go ahead and get the deposit going, everything like that. Does that work for you? That makes you look, number one, like you're busy. This is what you're doing. This is your profession. And it makes you look professional. People want to work with professional people. They don't want to work with sketchy people in their messages, in their inboxes. They want to work with professional people. How much better do you feel when you know you're working with a professional versus like somebody who like won't get on the phone with you, would rather email you, right? So like I'm like, no, I want to get on the phone with the person that's going to provide a service for me. I want to make sure that they're providing me my service that I want, right? So yeah. Christina says, thank you for this training. I have not done my first booking yet, and I'm kind of nervous about how to go about the first one. Yeah, just follow the structure, and like, please don't get, don't, it's okay to be nervous. So like, don't feel like I can't be nervous. I have extreme anxiety. In case, for those of you that don't really know me, I have massive anxiety. I don't know how I do things on camera because I'm actually a very anxious person. I will not lie to you when I say I've had to do like the wiggles, like the little jello dance before I get on the phone with the client to get like that nerve out, right? So it's okay, like shake it off, do a little woohoo before the phone call, whatever it is. Like it's okay to do those things to kind of get those nerves out. Drink some water. Make sure that you have water with you, so you're not parched. You know, have a little fidget toy when you're talking on the phone to relieve some of that anxiety. There's things that you can be doing that you can be doing so you could that you could kind of help relieve some of that anxiousness. And you can go ahead and yeah, of course you're not the only one. Anxiety is a huge common thing. Like a lot of people have anxiety. A lot of leaders that you wouldn't think have anxiety. I can promise you that. So, and especially if it's your first one, guys, I am not going to lie. I had to have my hand held for my first like 3 or 4 bookings. No lie. But it was because I had my hand held that it made me have so much more confidence. I had somebody on Q&A today that she was doing everything right for a rental package. All I had to do was like tell her, yep, you're doing everything right. And sometimes that's all it takes for you to shake off your nerves, right? You just need that reassurance, right? Is there a written procedure that I missed? Jean, it sounds like you weren't either. You may have been in and out of the meeting, but I'm not going to re-go over stuff. This is recorded, guys. So if you have agents that you think would really benefit from this, this is a recorded training. We are going to get this out on risingtype3.com. This will be able to be shared within your teams and stuff like that. So this is a recorded training. You will be able to share this, especially with new agents and stuff like that. So the full CC number goes on the download from the Travel Cafe. No, I use this form that I have for the recording, for the CC auth form. That's the same authorization form that you find in your Travel Cafe. I just have it on Adobe PDF or whatever, so I can go ahead and fill in my information, right? So yeah, guys, do you guys have any more questions? Thank you, Joyda, you're so sweet. Yeah, guys, don't let your nerves be the reason why you don't get on the phone with somebody. And trust me when I say, like, if you like totally blow it with the client, it's okay. Life happens, right? Sometimes, a baby, when they're learning to walk, think of how many times you've watched your baby fall before they were actually walking, right? Like you're that nervous parent that you're like, oh my God, they're going to fall, but they have to fall to learn to pick themselves up, to learn to balance, to learn to walk, right? So, you have to make sure that, it's okay. It's okay. I've done it before. I've totally blown it with the client. It's okay. You'll get them the next time. If you never make mistakes, I promise you're never going to make progression. Okay. Are phone calls recorded for verification purposes? No, you're making phone calls from your personal device. I mean, if you want to record your phone calls, but you have to let people know you're recording phone calls. You can't just record them. I feel a lot better now. I'm going to find me some clients. Get it, girl. Like to role play with somebody. Yeah. There's a deposit for then a future multi-payment, can the CC form be edited to add? Okay, this is kind of questions I've already answered, guys. So you could either do a credit card authorization form for the whole payment at one time, or you can do one every time you do a payment. Whatever you guys want to do, there's actually a specific training on that inside of Rising Tide 3. So if you want more questions about that, please plug into Rising Tide 3, guys. Don't forget to use your resources, okay? RisingTide3.com is a great resource with a ton of video library content for you to watch stuff. Let's see. I have clients that must have anxiety because it's hard for me to get them on the phone. Yeah, if they're not wanting to get on the phone, then they may not be, you know, serious. So, like I said. So guys, I'm super excited. There's 32 people on this training. If you guys got value out of this, please let people know. Please let people know they should be plugging in. Like I said, this is going to be, this is recorded. So I am going to go ahead and get this, make sure it's on Rising Tide 3. I want to share this with the teams. This is going to be a great, hopefully a great resource for you guys to have for your new agents. And I'm very excited. Thank you guys for plugging in. As always, you guys make sure that you guys are in control of your business. It is you who determines if you succeed or not. Okay, guys? So go out there, be productive, take these tools and apply them. Okay? Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. Bye.